when we've discussed some third-party data, it's usually been negative, and then Apple, with actual data in the earnings context, has proven it wrong. This is Counterpoint Research data that is a surprise, and it's a positive surprise. What does it tell us about iPhone 16 in that market?
Really think it tells us anything new, right? I think it tells us that the first 3 weeks of iPhone sales, as they usually are, were pretty hot, right? The issue was never the opening month of the device. The issue was over the long term, right? 3, 6, 9 months to 12 months, or the full cycle of that device. I think some analysts have been a little irrational or irresponsible in their commentary on the iPhone 16 over the last several months. Some analysts have gone as far as claiming that this is going to create a super cycle, something we haven't seen since the iPhone first launched on China Mobile with bigger screens a decade ago, right? They've been saying that Apple Intelligence is something that is going to drive a super cycle, despite the fact that Apple Intelligence is not available in China, right? So you can't necessarily have
Exactly.
it both ways. You can't say that AI is going to create a super cycle in China while AI is not available in China, right? I'm not
Right.
entirely surprised that the iPhone 16 is doing well in the region. There's a lot of pent-up demand. There's a lot of people in China who didn't upgrade the prior 2 years, the iPhone 14 Pro and the iPhone 15 Pro. The iPhone 16 has some nice improvements, right? I think the camera control interface is excellent, right? I think the speed improvements and the battery life improvements are really nice touches. I've enjoyed those personally. So I think it's a good upgrade for people who haven't bought a new iPhone the past few years. So I'm not entirely surprised. And typically, even when the data is negative, right, I typically come on here and say is we're not going to know the truth until Apple earnings, right? That's the case even when it's positive. And so at the end of this month, we'll get a better idea of how accurate this information is.
Mark, next time we are bringing you and Dan Ives, Supercycle Man, on together for some fighting talk. We love it today. But more broadly, when you think that there is bits to love within iPhone 16, the bit that I'm just so questioning is the AI element. You've told this story again and again on, well, your own X platform in particular. Who are they going to partner with in China? How are they going to really reap the benefits of the artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so there's two components really to the AI push in the iPhone, right? There's the in-house large language models and generative AI features. Those are using an Apple model. Those are running on Apple servers. And then there's the third-party component that's integrated into Siri and other parts of the operating system. In the US, they're using so far ChatGPT starting in December, and they're also planning to integrate Google Gemini and to open it up to other LLMs in the future. So you have an array of choices. In China, most of those providers in the US are not available. So they're going to have to partner with local entities, Baidu being one option. Obviously, you have Tencent. Obviously, you have different bespoke LLMs in the region. But the other component is how is Apple going to get approval from the Chinese government to use their server infrastructure to power their in-house generative AI models, which are, in fact, the bigger deal, right, for Apple Intelligence, notification summaries, writing tools, image generation,
Right.
Genmojis to create your own emojis, right? At
Yeah.
least for iCloud, they have to use a partner, right, in China with government affiliation. And so they may end up having to do something similar if they want to get Apple Intelligence working in China, right? And China is one of two major markets, the other being the European Union, where the AI features are not available on the iPhone, and there's no clear release date for when that will happen. And I don't anticipate that happening for at least a year.